Welcome, Michael.
Hello.
How's it going?
What's going on? Sorry I was late, everybody.
No
Hello.
problem. We're just chatting. Evelina's at work, so we can't pick on her, but everybody else we can.
Did you
I'm
already ask the question?
no, actually, well, everybody got the question within the invitation.
Sure.
But let's ask it again. What
Yeah.
does exploration mean to you?
You.
This is,
So
go ahead.
before everybody answers, yeah, that's the question. What does exploration mean to you? But before everyone does, I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. If this is your first time, thanks for coming on. We're Wellness Mavericks. We're a group of young adults, and we are all about health and wellness and growing and learning in every aspect. And so we come on every Monday night. This is a weekly call. And yeah, we always learn so much. Even Gemma and I mean, I feel like I learned so much every call, just listening and hearing everybody talk. So thank you for everybody who joins. And this month's topic is adventure within. And tonight we're going to be talking specifically about kind of that mindset of exploration and adventure, and that it's more of a mindset than actual destination. So, with that being said, the question is, what does exploration mean to you? And yeah, whoever has it, go ahead and shoot, and then we'll get into the topic after we hear what everyone says.
I actually got asked this question last night, and I loved it because it's something I feel like I engage in so much. It's just like an integral part of who I am. But I think on this trip, I'm in Washington right now. I've been here for 2 weeks. I've realized that it was like ingrained in me from very early on in childhood because my parents always took us out into nature on any given afternoon, day, rest day, weekend that we could together as a family would go out and hike in nature and always at a different spot. Like in the Northwest, you can always find a place you've never been. And that sense of like going to a place and you're like, oh my God, I've never seen this. And I experienced that so much on this trip again that I really enjoyed that like sense of like this has always been inside of me and I just realized where it came from. Um, oh, did you guys hear that echo? Sorry.
Yeah, that
Um,
was for me. You're good.
okay. Yeah. Anyways, that's so exploration to me means I actually literally wrote a list down because it was so profound for me to just be introspective about it. It means exploration, means innovation, liberty, happiness, problem solving, efficiency, frugality, and process and system building. That's what it means for me to explore. So, like, whether it means I have like three ingredients to whip up a meal for like 5 people, or we're in the middle of nowhere and we want to have a sense of excitement, we go explore somewhere or discover something. When I'm putting on an event and there's a problem, I'm so excited by trying to find the solution. Like, I get an energy rush by trying to solve a problem, and that's the sense of exploration that I just crave all the time. So when I work together with my family or we're in a new place or we're stuck with a few ingredients in the fridge, I get this rush and I can sense that it's connected to that feeling of like what's the new thing that I can learn here or the new place that I can explore in this experience that'll give me that sense of deep exploration within my mind and my body.
Hmm.
Who's got the next
That
answer?
was really good. I
Thank you.
like that.
Yeah.
Gemma, did you
Yeah.
say the word frugality? Did I hear you say that?
Yes. Yes.
Such an interesting word. Like, what do you mean when you say that?
So, okay. Man, I don't even know how to say it. I grew up in a really big family. So like your leftovers are your breakfast, and somehow the leftovers from dinner is enough to feed a huge family for breakfast. How does that make sense? Because you made a big meal out of a little thing. What that means to me is like you have scraps from something, can you reinvent it into be to be something useful for something else? Or like the scraps from a meal that you created, can you put it into the garden? That's frugality because you're giving back to the earth. You're not letting anything to waste. Or I would sew with my grandma, and we'd use a pattern of for cloth, a piece of cloth for a pattern, and there's some leftover fabric, and then we think of something creative to make out of those leftovers for something else. And I get such a kick out of it. Like it's so fun. And then I yesterday learned that my great grandma, who passed away a few years ago, would always make, like, she was an insane crocheter with the teeniest tiniest needle for crochet needling or crocheting. um and she would take threads that people wanted to throw away because they were discolored, they were frayed in certain areas, and she would make like these beautiful lace patterns that she made it in her own mind. So like she was using something someone was throwing away. That's a really frugal thing to do, like you're using someone's waste product, and she used her mind to create patterns that other people would have to sit there and like look online and give me the numbers of loops, give me this pattern and this thing. She would literally come up with it, like birds and flowers and landscapes and scenery, all on this like teeny tiny thread, like so thin. And I just learned about that yesterday. I'm like, I literally do that. That's crazy that it's still something I love to do. I just love to do it. Anyways, that's what frugality means to me.
That makes
That's
so
so
much
good.
more sense to me now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I can understand things in my own life now that I can compare to that.
Yeah,
That was really good.
thank you.
Yeah.
That was a super like interesting twist I didn't think of, but that's so good.
It's like a genuine challenge. Like, and then when I see waste, I'm like, what is that? Like, what is the purpose of that? I think it asks for a deeper question.
Hmm.
How do you see that in your own life, Frankie?
Um, well, you mentioned your great grandma, right?
Yeah.
So my great grandpa played the guitar, and he
Mm.
and I recently discovered that he like started his own quartet or his own mariachi band. And I like
Aw.
that's so cool. And he has all these songs that he wrote. They're on a CD. And I was just visiting my family in California because it was his wife's, or I don't think it was any special occasion. It was my great grandma's. She's getting really old, so we went to visit her. She's like
Oh,
99, I think now.
that's amazing.
Yeah. And so we went to celebrate them and we got to talking about it. But he would write songs and he was self-taught. So that's interesting that your great grandma did that same sort of thing with the patterns in her mind
Self-taught.
and was playing like yeah, so I correlated it that way and I like to play.
Oh, wow.
So
Did he
yeah.
ever write any of his songs down or like record them or anything?
Yeah, there's a CD with all of them and I had no
Oh,
idea.
so
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, so I'm
Should
gonna get
try to
access to that.
recreate them.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to them for sure.
Oh, I love
Try to
that.
play along.
That's so
Yeah.
special.
That's sweet.
I love this. Okay, who else has got an answer to exploration?
I have one.
Let's hear it, Kyle.
Well, first, I'm new here. Thanks for having me. Um,
What's up, Kyle?
how's it going?
Where are you from, Kyle? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally born in Florida, raised in Virginia, graduated in Texas, and now I live in Oregon. So
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't even know where to claim where I'm from, but currently living in Oregon.
What part of
Uh,
Oregon are you in?
5 years. I moved here in the middle of the pandemic to just pursue photography, honestly. Like,
So cool.
um,
Are
a
you
little
in
bit.
Portland or where are you?
I'm in Milwaukee, which is like the Portland metro area. It's like southeast Portland. Um,
Cool.
but yeah, moved here
That's
from
how
Virginia.
Kyle and I met, is through a photo shoot. And then
Yeah,
we did a workout
Oh,
together.
that's so
We
cool.
started going out to the beach and doing photo shoots out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did a lot of photo shoots. We got some miles.
Yeah.
That's
Um, but yeah, so exploration kind of hit really deep for me, especially with moving to Oregon. You know, I was a bodybuilder for a little bit. I competed in a show, and my buddy and we started a YouTube channel called GK Fitness, which was just Greg and Kyle Fitness. And we started an apparel brand and literally just made gym clothes and made YouTube videos. And that kind of inspired photography for me because I was getting into the editing software. I was taking photos for the thumbnails and essentially fell in love with photography and fell out of love with bodybuilding. So the pandemic went down, and my goal was like as a teenager, I've always like had a high interest in van life. I thought like having little bit of things with you and just living with nature, living like very minimalistically, and having like a camera and just like a simple way of living was like the dream for me. So I was a bartender in Virginia, and I was doing really well for myself. I was paying off a lot of stuff, selling a lot of my things, getting ready to buy a van to convert to travel across the country to live here in Oregon. But then the pandemic took my job away and we weren't doing anything. And I started getting unemployment, which was like 900 a week. And then I just kind of randomly sent it to Oregon. I like got on Tinder, put in my profile. I was like, "Hey, trying to move to Oregon. I'll pay you 300 a month until I find a place, blah, blah, blah." Someone said yes, moved here. And then as soon as capacity, like the pandemic opened up to 50% capacity, I went to a gym because that's where I started my photography. I just started networking. And at that point, I was telling people that I was a photographer, and then people started asking me how much I charge. And I was like, whoa, I've, I didn't say this out loud to them, but I've never charged someone until I moved to Oregon. So
Mm.
like the first bit of income was photography income as soon as I got here. And I was like, wow, like you kind of have to just go for it and try. And for me, the exploration thing, I've never known anyone in Oregon. I've never been to Oregon, and I didn't ever do photography as a job. So I kind of just made this thing that I craved as like a dream to like make it happen just because we weren't promised tomorrow because of the pandemic locking us down and literally taking our jobs away. So it's just like, I need to explore this urge of mine. Like the worst thing is that I have to just come back. And as soon as like I started networking and meeting people and like really being the person I wanted to be, it started happening more. And I got a regular job because I was new in the photography business. And then I got like a little $600 Camry to hold me over until I got the van that I wanted, which I ended up getting a van and converting it 70%, but then I sold it because I ran out of money, as you do when you're new to a state and you don't have like a consistent job. So I was just exploring how to make it here in Oregon, and I've been here for 5 years now. I have a beautiful partner. We've been together for 2.5 years now. We live in a house. We're renting, we're not buying, and my photography business has just done wonders since I've moved here. Like it's gone better every year. And to sum up what exploration is to me, it's like applying physical action to your curiosity and your wonders and the things that seem amazing to you. Because you don't know if what you think is amazing is going to be amazing for yourself when you start doing it. And
Mm,
I think you just change so much with action. And
I like
so
that.
I think
Wow.
you can have exploration within nature and in within knowledge. Nature being like what is calling to you and like what seems cool. And then you have to do the part where the knowledge you have to be curious about, like what is the reason for X, Y, and Z, like photography for me. So like fundamentals of a camera, composition, art, stuff like that. And then traveling is another form of nature where you're just like, it's freaking beautiful there. I love the coast. I love the mountains. I love rivers, whatever it is. You are exploring it because you're curious and because you naturally have like this pull to it. So you have to explore and get to know yourself by exploring things that kind of grab your attention.
Yeah. That's really good. I like that. I wrote it down. Applying physical action to curiosity. That's really
Hmm.
good. That's really good. That could like sum it all up right there.
Yeah.
Applying action to curiosity.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Kyle was my first outside of the box friend, person who really I didn't believe you for the longest time when you were like, "Yeah, I just moved here from Virginia because I want to do photography on the coast." I'm like, "You're lying. That can't be the reason you moved out here." That's
That's so
crazy.
cool. No, that's a good testimony too for business owners and for people in any business. The fact that you moved somewhere, it wasn't all easy at first, but
Yeah.
once you took action, things started to roll. And I'm sure you learned so much about word of mouth now in your business and how when you do good work, other clients and other business opportunities come,
Yep.
and it's glad that once the ball gets rolling, it doesn't stop if you continue with good work,
Yeah.
which is honestly really inspiring because it just goes to show you don't have to you don't have to have it all figured out. You just go and do it. I mean, that's really cool to hear.
You won't have it figured out. Like you think you have it figured out, and as much as you want to take the precautions to be as prepared and figured out as possible, there's going to be the same amount of things in order for you to make progress that you have to figure out. Like that's just how it is. And
Yeah.
for me, I was like, I'm a bartender right now. I can bartend anywhere. Plus minimum wage is like double in Oregon. So I just have to
And
find
it's crazy.
something I can pay for and just continue the job what I'm doing. And honestly, like I wanted to do landscape photography. I lived on the coast, but there weren't mountains on the coast. So I was like, Oregon sounds like it'll do it for me. So yeah. But
Cool.
more importantly is I guess even when it comes to networking outside of photography, like it's being genuinely interested in who you're meeting and like making it about them. Cause like you want to know who you can bring into your circle. And I went to this photographer for Gemma, for example. We did this group photography thing, which it was models and photographers. And I saw Gemma, she was modeling, but I was like, yo, she's built. Like she doesn't just model or something. It's like she's obviously a gym goer. And I asked her, I was like, do you work out? And she was like, yeah. I was like, can you do a lat spread? And she like grew wings. I was like, I know who she is. I get who she is now. And at that point, that's when I was asking her, like, how long have you done this? Have you competed? Blah, 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 blah. And like, we just had like the same reciprocated curiosity to know more about one another. And I think that's when it can be a genuine connection instead of just like having someone that could benefit you, like a photographer to a business owner. It's more of like, oh man, you can develop a relationship with someone and grow your business just by knowing someone. So it's like thinking long term, like you do with your friends, with your business, because word of mouth goes further when you like create a core memory. Like that's honestly my job as a photographer, is to create a core memory and to get across whatever the intention is of the photo shoot.
I love that. I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom.
Anyone needs
Wisdom.
I think we all know who we're getting our photos from now.
I'm honored.
We really want you to come to our retreat, Kyle.
When is it coming? When is it happening?
July 18th to the 22nd.
And it's happening where?
Fairfield, Idaho.
Idaho?
Yeah.
Just get to Boise and we'll take you there, brother.
Oh my gosh. Send me the link and I'm there.
Yeah.
We'll send you the application.
Okay.
Hey, Frankie, I don't think Frankie answered what exploration means to you.
I can go really, really quick because I know we got to get started. But I wrote down curiosity, learning, doing something that's different from the routine, and then discovering. I wrote that down after Kyle, I think, said that. But curiosity was the first thing that came to mind. Yeah.
So good. That curiosity is very important, because what is there to explore without curiosity? What is exploration without curiosity?
Mm-hmm.
You're not exploring, you already know. I mean, but there is exploration within the mundane too, though.
Oh, dude, mundane is the best thing to explore. It creates this like nostalgic feeling that you have as like, because mundane is everywhere, you know?
Yeah. I think I'll go real quick because I know we need to get started. To me, that mundane part is exploration. I wrote down some things too, but I mean, that curiosity is a big word. I think there's also an act of like investigating. You know, it could be traveling, it could be anything. Exploration could be anything from reading to exploring people, friendships, exploring conversations, new places. Exploration, when I think of it, is mainly travel though, and it's meeting new people, it's seeing new things. But it's like learning. I think that's all exploration is really just learning. Like you're learning new things, you're exploring, you know what I mean? It's adventure. It's almost like you're looking for a solution, but you don't know what the solution is, if that makes sense. Like you're looking for things, but you're kind of open-minded about it because you're not sure what you're going to get. It's looking into the unknown. That to me, that's what exploration is. Um, Even like in the small things, you could see this, you could look at the same view, 1,000 times, and each time you could get something new from it. Like this morning, I was looking at the sun come up, and I was looking at the river, and I was kind of walking around grounding, and I was sitting on this log, my favorite log, and it goes over this river, and I was looking at the rocks in the stream, the flowers, looking at these little insects and how they open their wings. And this one little insect, still don't know the name of it. I got to figure out, but it opened its wings, not like this, but it opened them like this, and there was a middle wing. So it opened them three wide, but there's one in the middle, if that makes sense. It looked really cool. And it was a small little insect, but I was just staring at it. And then came his friends, and they were opening their wings. And like that was just crazy. That was exploration right there. I was just like looking, I was like, wow, if I would have been like thinking of what I'm going to do today, how I'm going to go about my business, what I'm going to eat for breakfast, if I would have been thinking about these other things and I wouldn't have been present, I would have missed this beautiful sight. It's like that's exploring right there. It's like seeing. You're just like seeing things. You're looking at the grooves in the trees. You're looking at the stem of the plant, the smell. Exploration is like using your five senses. It's being present. Because how can you explore if you're not present? If you're thinking about other things, if you're thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow or tonight or a certain situation, if you're thinking about that, how can you explore? So to me, it's partially present. We got like what? Touch, smell, see, hear,
Feel.
taste, feel. Did I say feel? Taste? Either way, you've got five of them. Some say they're more, but you definitely have at least five. And I think that's exploring right there. When you can use all of those at the same time, be fully present, that's exploration. So anyway, that's all I have.
Amazing. I love that you were sitting on a log in nature. I think that's been something actually like to exercise curiosity, exploration, discovery, like all those words daily on this trip has been literally like to go out into nature in some capacity and just observe. Like here in Washington, everything in Oregon is so green, and it's like it's not just one shade of green, it's every single tree and branch and bush and flower and everything has a different shade of green. And it's just that's all I've been observing for the past week. I'm like, I swear I've never seen this color of green before. And it all looks the same if you're looking at it with just like passing by and on your way to something. But if you're walking slow, you can see that the edge, the new branches or the new leaves of every single tree are slightly lighter than the rest of the tree that's older. And like it's just this beautiful season of summer coming into reality. And it's like these little branches have never been alive before. This is the new growth for this season. And then come fall, they're all gonna fall. But through the winter and the spring of next year, that's gonna be where the new growth begins. This is the new growth of this season. But next season, the new growth is gonna go off of that point and extend beyond that. And nature expresses that through color. And I thought it was so beautiful. Just like it's telling us that this is new, this is new. Yeah. So cool. So cool. Michael, do you have a topic for us today? For adventure as a mindset, not a destination?
Of course. Yeah. So adventure, I do. So this is week 2 of Adventure Within, and everyone's already probably learned so much. So we'll keep it somewhat short for y'all. But yeah, adventure is a mindset, not a destination. And so Gemma's going to come in. She's going to talk about some things, and I'll finish up. But essentially, it's like redefining adventure. It's not necessarily like a certain place you go or like a certain thing you do, but I think it boils down to where your mind is and where your mind starts. Like kind of going back to what we talked about last week about getting out of the mundane to appreciate the mundane. Then there's a sense of like adventure in the mundane. It's all really it's really at the end of the day, this whole month and everything we talk about, it's all perspective, just how you look at things. If you look at your job like some boring job, it's just, that's what it's going to be. If someone asks you how your day is and you say good, you're just going to have a good life. If someone asks you how your day is and you say it's phenomenal or magnificent or flourishing. You're speaking life into it. It's all perspective. It's all how you view things. So if you say adventure within, then your life is an adventure within. And every day, really, if you change your mind and you start to look around, every day is an adventure. I mean, really, like every day is an adventure. So anywho, that's pretty much the topic for today. Gemma's going to share some really cool things. But yeah,
You want me to go? I'm ready to go.
yeah, go for it.
Okay, I got four very simple points, and I feel like we've already talked about all of it, but I'm going to reinstate it because this is something that are like key takeaways. So, number one, that a thing that can inspire a sense of adventure in a very constructive way, in a very takeaway way. Going out into nature daily, which is something we've already all talked about, like moving to the West Coast, spending time outside every day, finding a moment to enjoy in nature, just to be present, but using it as a tool to notice little things that allow you to see newness. So the thing that inspires the desire for exploration is the desire to know what's not known yet. And we do have this sense in old written texts of ancient texts that there's nothing new under the sun. But still, we desire as humans to be like, well, what if I find out something that no one else knows? Can I explore something and realize something and understand something that no one else has seen before or experienced or learned? And I think that comes from our desire just to be living on the edge or living on the edge of our expression of who we are. And for myself, and I know for a lot of people in this community, it is going out into nature, and that revives that sense. It also does so much to your brain to be in nature and revives your sense of relaxation. It lowers your cortisol. It brings peace into your mind. It stabilizes depressive thoughts and anxiety that you may have. It literally neutralizes so much. Point number two is the desire to learn, and the desire to learn for the goal of mastery. And so I think Frankie said something along these lines, but learning and exploring new things, or learning new things so that you can master it and become incredible. So yes, it's beautiful to, I want to learn about this, I want to learn about this, but what are you incredible at as an individual? What are you showing mastery level skill in? And I think that makes you also want to explore to the highest level. Like there's artisans in the world who make glass bricks, who make moldings on the walls that like reflect things that we see in fairy tales. They literally do that with their hands for acres upon acres of homes that are like mansions we will never see in our lifetimes. There's people who furnish the inside of those homes with the work of their hands. And it's something that you can't just do with a tool, you have to do with your fingers, like creating some kind of decoration on a molding. I've had the honor to sit in rooms with people who design homes like that, and it's just astounding. They express such high level mastery that they devoted their lives to learn not only from their own discovery, but from other masters who have carried that skill from generation to generation to generation. And they had a desire so deep to become the most excellent in that field that was their exploration of like, what's the new thing I can learn today that I didn't know yesterday that's going to make me amazing at what I do, that's going to make me a world-renowned master in this art. So that was point number two, desire to learn, and the desire to learn with the goal of mastery. Number three is to aim for excellence in the small things, in the mundane, in the little things that you're doing every day, to aim for excellence. And I think that inspires for me a sense of growth and exploration, of discovery, because I can find a new way to do what I'm doing better. And I'm not like, oh my God, I've never washed raspberries like this before. I'm just like, I can wash this with the most presence of mind and notice the little hairs on the raspberries and how many little bubbles there are, and is there mold inside? Is there a little spider inside? Like that's excellence in washing strawberries, is being totally present with it. And that's the little thing that we get to do. It's like the way that you wrap your burrito without ripping the tortilla. You know, like you can get better at it every time that you make something, anything that you engage in. Number 4 is asking questions about the process of anything that you're doing to encourage innovation and solutions. And that demands curiosity. You're doing something and it's the mundane something. This is something you do every day. But can I find a way to make this better, more beautiful, more efficient, more enjoyable, or simpler even to pass on to someone else? Can I make this process even simpler so that someone else can repeat it as well? Or is this so complex that nobody can repeat it? And that also shows like it's a telltale sign of antiquated systems or antiquated processes, things that have not been innovated on or explored or asked questions about. There's been no curiosity involved for so long that we can't repeat the process because it's not been improved over time. That's discovery and curiosity. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts.
So good. Wow.
I love. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I love that you said the mastery of something, because when you first sent the link with the question, what is exploration to you? I thought of like people like Jane Goodall and Bruce Lee and Steve Irwin, just people who mastered like one very particular thing only because they were curious about it. So like MMA or monkeys, and then obviously Steve Irwin was like known as the crocodile hunter. But like those people have stayed curious and passionately and aimed for greatness and excellence in all of those aspects. And I think that's what I'm kind of trying to do with photography, because the more I'm exploring photography, the more I'm like going down different avenues of it. Like I just started teaching photography and feeling like my current phase in photography is like being a philosopher and like a mental, it's like a mentality behind photography that I wish I can give to other amateur photographers or even professional photographers who just like have this curiosity in their head, whether they see it as like a hobby or a business. But it's like one of those things where I was teaching this one person, and the way I taught her, she had this like battle with not knowing a certain technical term or something and like comparing herself to other photographers. And I don't know. I got her out of this slump and I shifted her mindset. And that right there, like, clicked to me. I was like, oh man, teaching photography mindsets, like mental cues as a photographer or any artist, really. Like, you can take what I'm talking about into any form of art, like MMA or like drawing or whatever the art form is. So it's just mastering that. So the adventure within is like striving to grow in something that you really enjoy, and by like trying to learn more about it. So that is photography for me. Like I used to hate black and white photography, and like the last couple months I've been just exploring and only shooting in black and white because
My
it's like,
favorite photos of yours are black and white photos.
oh,
By
thank you for
far.
saying that. Me too. I've been doing it more, and I'm like, this is art for me
Yeah.
right here. Like this feels
Yeah.
good. Like anyone can take a good photo, but making a good black and white photo and not worrying about the lighting aspect of it like makes it a little harder. And that's what I'm trying to do for myself, is just like challenge myself and be more curious to where my mindset goes when taking a photo, like in the black and white world. So that's my takeaway on those four.
I love that. I like that you used our keywords for this month, the adventure within.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Well, it's funny because before you even sent the Zoom link, I was like, that's why I shaved my head recently. I'm like, I don't even know who I am. I need to like discover this guy a little bit more and see like why I don't like things, why I like things, and see if it's like, is it true that I don't like this? Is it true that I don't like that? Like, it's like trying to be like knowing and creating more knowledge within yourself.
Wow, that's really cool. I love that. Frankie, you had something to say earlier.
Yeah. I honestly can't really remember what I was gonna say, but Kyle, I have to say I'm very inspired by your passion for photography. It's
Thank you.
it's very cool because I recognize things in my life where I would do something even if even if I wasn't paid to do it, that kind of passion.
Hmm.
Um, that was a good reminder for me. And in fact, this is my wallpaper. I was going to show you guys this. Oops. This is Bo Jackson. You guys know who that is?
Nice. A baseball player, I can assume.
Yeah, he was a professional baseball and NFL player back in like the 80s.
Hmm.
And I saw this compilation on Facebook, a video of like all of his best plays, and he's just like this incredible athlete, right? There's this play where he gets really frustrated, he strikes out, he takes the baseball bat over his head and just breaks it like a toothpick over his head. And I'm like, dude, that is crazy. But that picture of him, that's on my phone here, it just reminds me to master my craft
Mm.
and become good at that one thing. Another quote that I remembered just now, you guys have probably heard it, jack of all trades, master of none, oftentimes better than master of one,
Mhm.
which is interesting because it reminds you to explore everything, but also find something that you love and explore that. And so, yeah, your passion, Kyle, really, really reminded me of that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
good.
love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. No, it's really cool. It's cool to hear what everyone's doing. There's so much adventure within the mind, the mundane and the day to day. Everything's an adventure. And if you change your perspective and look at it that way, you can choose excitement with adventure, or you can choose fear, because what is exploration? It's the unknown normally. Normally when you're exploring, you don't know what's on the other side. So sometimes we can get nervous or anxious or afraid, but really a lot of times people mistake anxiety and fear for excitement. We are designed to be successful people, and when we go after adventure and exploration, we're going to find the unknown, meaning that different emotions are going to arise. So if we choose excitement, right, rather than anxiety, right, the excitement will lead us there, stray us further away. We get to choose. So, and that's been something I've been learning a lot recently. But think about it: anxiety and fear and excitement, they both make your heart beat. You
Hmm.
you get to choose which one. You might feel a little fear, anxiety, but really, if you really look closely, a lot of times it's excitement because it's unknown.
Mhm.
Um, so anyhow, that's a pretty fun way to think about things. Like don't mistake anxiety for excitement, because oftentimes before we're about to do something big or about to do something we've never done, there's this emotion, and sometimes we can just write it off and like, oh, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, but really, like, don't overlook it. Like, really think about, be in tune with yourself, and I think that's where your quiet place, whatever that looks like for you, is where you can really get in tune with those emotions. But yeah, if you're in tune with yourself and you start to actually dive deep, I mean, a lot of times, like, people just like to slap anxiety on it, or fear or nervousness, right? But a lot of times it's actually excitement. And that excitement is what's going to bring you to your goal, because
Yeah.
that's the emotion. Like last week, we talked about getting like excited
Yeah.
and like upbeat about our goals. Like that excitement is what's bringing you there. It's not your like discipline. It's not like your like strategy. I mean, those play a part, but excitement, it's your like striving. It's like you're just making your way there. It's exciting. Like the
Mhm.
process is grueling, but it's exciting. That's what's really bringing you to get up and keep going, because you're finding that adventure, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully
Yeah.
that inspires some of y'all.
There was I actually like wondering this recently. I've been listening to so much Joe Rogan podcasts. Like, oh my God, so many. And I'm asking myself this right now, like, why do I keep listening to this? Because half the topics I'm not genuinely interested in, but I like to hear his perspective. And I think right now I'm understanding it's because he's an excellent communicator. Like he's a mastery level communicator with things that he loves and that he's passionate about. Even if he's in conflict with the person that is communicating about that topic, he can iterate his position very, very well because he is a master of what he loves and a master of communicating.
Mhm.
And he says so many times, I will not have any guests on this podcast that I don't want to talk to, like that I'm not genuinely interested in. But the people that he has on are like millions of different topics, like they cover such a variety of communicate or different topics and yeah, just areas of study. And he's been doing it for so long, and he is the top rated podcaster communicator in the world.
Mhm.
Um, just fascinating for me to observe that. But one of the guys he just had on quoted a quote from Abraham Lincoln, and I want to find the original one, but it was along the lines of the human being doesn't understand how deeply it wants to suffer. The psyche and the being of a human being wants to suffer. And whether that's suffering in challenging yourself to advance or suffering in not challenging yourself and literally decaying into who you are, we
Mhm.
crave a certain level of suffering. And if we're not pushing ourselves, we're basically like asking to kill ourselves. And I'm gonna find the original quote because I probably like flipped it upside down, but that's the concept that I took from it of if we're gonna find suffering in our experience some way or another, then that's just the challenge. That's the pursuit of something higher, better, the next best thing, right? And that's really hard for us to attain. And we want to experience that suffering for some reason. It's just in our bones. And we can either do that by advancing ourselves, or we can do that by digging ourselves a deeper hole and like rotting in bed or behind a TV or
Mhm.
whatever we're doing, just not pursuing the next level, which is also suffering.
Hmm. Choose your
Wow.
suffering.
Yeah, yeah. Advancement or decay.
Wow, that's so good.
Yo, this is such a good call. I wish last week was recorded. I like when you said that, I'm like, oh, I want to go back and listen to it. And it
Literally.
wasn't
Last week was
recorded.
insane. Last week was actually crazy.
Yeah. It was an hour long. It was an hour long talk and not recorded. This is the kind of thing that like this is why you need to show up for the Wellness Mavericks retreat because none of those conversations are going to be recorded and they're going to be like, "Oh, I wish it was."
Oh,
You just have to be present.
It's gonna be a lot of growth. It's gonna be a fun retreat.
Yeah. It's going to be
So
good.
we'll have to get Kyle. So Evelina, Frankie's going on the call right now. Kyle, we got to get you that. We got to get you that link
Application.
to
okay.
application. That's the right word. We got to get you that application, apply, and then we'll go from there. But we'd love
Sweet.
to have.
Love to be there.
You could bring your partner too if you want.
Yes. Oh my
She's
God.
like on call. She's in school to be a midwife right now for the next
Awesome.
year. So she like has 2 to 5 births a week, and she honestly can't really dedicate anything because she has someone due to have a baby
Oh
literally
wow.
all the time. So it's just 1 year of her time of her life right now where she can't really do a lot of things,
Wow.
which I wish she could go, but her only time that she has off is like late August or early September. So
Oh, that's wild. That's pretty cool though.
That
yeah,
is really cool.
Babies come out,
That's
helping
mastery
people.
level midwifing right there.
she's a naturopathic doctor midwife.
That's so cool.
Pretty cool. We've been growing a lot of our own garden actually. We got some tomatoes, cucumber, squash,
Come on.
lettuce, basil, all the stuff.
Come on. Let's go.
He's a wellness maverick in his bones, and this is the first time on the call.
Come on.
I think we're 8.5 months into Wellness Mavericks existence.
That's crazy.
Can you believe that?
8 months. Wow.
October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So yeah, 8.5.
Are
We're
we halfway through the year already?
more, well, okay, yeah. If you're
Give or
counting
take.
January, yeah,
Give or
Wow.
take.
almost. We're 2
That's
weeks away
crazy.
from half. So good.
I'm
No.
Time
Oh.
flies when you're doing what you want and exploring, right?
True.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Kyle?
That's what it feels like.
That's so real.
But
I
yeah,
would show
I'm
you my garden
excited.
right now, but I'm on my MacBook, so I can't really.
Look at this. Built that.
What's that?
This is a greenhouse.
Holy moly.
I'm finishing the
From
door
From the
right
ground
now.
up.
I have to go out to your house, bro.
But we have a whole bunch of these little starts right here.
So organ liver.
Yeah.
PNW beast.
We got all these
Show
trees
you.
right here.
He'll show you all the best spots on the coast too if you go out with him, Michael.
You know,
If you guys-
Evelina lives like right in Portland, pretty much, in Vancouver, Washington.
Wait, where do you live?
Evelina, she does, my girlfriend.
Oh, Evelina lives in Vancouver.
Yeah, so it's like probably like 30 minutes from you, probably.
Yeah, probably like less.
Yeah.
We'll have to link up, brother.
Absolutely.
Eat some of your tomatoes, eat some of your.
Yeah, I mean it's organically grown, so
I'm kidding. No, yeah, I love that, dude. I'm growing a huge garden here. It's awesome. I love gardening. That's
You guys are
exploration.
starting.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness. Good for you, brother.
Got one right here.
Such a
This
legend.
guy's getting a little couple fruits.
next week I'm showing my garden.
Yeah, next
Been
week.
waiting.
Oh my God, are we doing a garden show and tell?
Yes.
Yeah, next week. Okay, so next week's topic, everybody, since everyone's on right now, I'm going to give it to you. This month, everyone knows that the topic is adventure within. But next week, we're talking about balance. What'd you say? Oh, it's about rethinking success and balancing our burnout.
Ooh.
Rethinking success. So what does success mean? And balancing our burnout. I'm leaving that. I'm leaving that.
Adventure within.
Thanks for joining the call tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have a phenomenal week. I hope you all learned something. I want to reiterate that we are Wellness Mavericks. The goal isn't just to come on and like speak, but the goal is to come on and like learn and obviously be in community and talk. But like I hope like the goal is every week to like leave this call with something. I know I left today with some stuff about mastery and just about just like exploration. I learned a lot about curiosity, and so I hope that everyone else learned something too, because that's why we do what we do. And so anywho, we're super excited for the retreat coming up July 18th 22nd in Idaho. And so yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. Hope you guys have a magnificent week and all flourish in your day-to-day lives. And I hope you find the presence in each moment, because each moment is very beautiful. And if you go too fast, you might miss it. But each day has like incredible adventure and exploration. So this week, focus on that. Focus on slowing down, stopping, and enjoying and exploring.
Yes. I can't wait to see every single person on this call at our retreat in July.
Me too. All right.
See you guys next
All
week.
right.
Bye.
Take care.
Later, guys.
See ya.